I was born enslaved. No choice, no freedom, no rights. The law said I belonged to another man, but one day, I heard words that changed everything. All men are born free and equal. If those words were true, then I should be free too. My name is Elizabeth Freeman. Some called me Mum Bett, and I took slavery to court, and I won. The receipts are official. Welcome back to Receipts from the Past, where we tell the stories history tried to forget, the stories that didn't make the textbooks but still changed the world. Today, you will hear this story from me, not from the men who owned me, not from the courts that judged me, from the woman who stood up and demanded freedom. I was born around 1744 in the colony of Massachusetts. I was born into slavery, like my parents, like their parents. I was owned by a man named Colonel John Ashley. I worked in his house, cooked his food, cleaned his floors, raised his children. I lived my life the way enslaved people were expected to live, quiet, obedient, invisible. But I was always listening, always watching, always learning. And one day, I heard something I could not forget. In 1780, Massachusetts created a new constitution. Men stood in the house reading it out loud. I heard the words myself. All men are born free and equal. Not some men, not rich men, not white men, all men. And I asked myself one question. If all men are born free, then why am I not? That was the moment I decided I would not stay a slave. Most enslaved people did not go to court. The law was not written for us, but I found a lawyer, a man named Theodore Sedgwick. I told him what I heard. I told him what the Constitution said, and I told him this: I am not leaving this world a slave. So in 1781, I went to court, not as property, as a person. The case was called Mum Bett versus Ashley. Bett was me. For the first time in my life, my name was written in a court record. The argument was simple. If the Constitution says all people are free, then slavery cannot be legal. The jury listened. The judge listened. And then they made their decision. They said the words I had waited my whole life to hear. Not guilty. Free. The court ordered that I be released, and I walked out of that courtroom, no longer owned by anyone. My case did not just free me, it changed the law. Other enslaved people used the same argument, case after case, court after court, and slavery in Massachusetts began to fall apart, not because of war, not because of a king, because one enslaved woman asked a question. If the law says I am free, why am I still a slave? Sometimes freedom begins with one voice. After I won my case, I took a new name, Elizabeth Freeman. I worked for the Sedgwick family, not as a slave, as a paid worker. I earned my own money. I raised my own children. I lived as a free woman in a country that once said I was property. When I died in 1829, I was buried as a free woman, not in the slave cemetery, not behind the house, in the family plot, because even they knew history had changed. Stories like this remind us, history is not only changed by soldiers, not only changed by kings. Sometimes, history changes because one person refuses to accept what the world says is normal. I was born enslaved, but I did not die that way, and the receipts are official. Now, this is a woman who didn't wait for freedom. She claimed it. If you enjoy stories history tried to forget, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe to Receipts from the Past, because over here, we check the facts, we spill the tea, and we always bring the proof. History, receipts, no cap.